Well, greetings, folks. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be. This is Lowell Ann. Welcome you to the Being Your Own CEO interview series. My goal is to introduce local Victoria solopreneurs by giving them some profile on YouTube and help them get started in this wonderful world of Google. I love finding out what makes them tick as business people, and I know that we can all learn from their observations and their experiences. So today I have with me Susan Farling of One Choice at a Time. And I might say that Susan and I met quite some time ago, I think. Through some local networking events that we both have attended. And I just remember a very pleasant conversation we had when we discovered we had a very common interest, which I think I'm sure we'll get to. But welcome here, Susan. So nice that you wanted to participate.
Thank you, Lowell Ann. I really appreciate being here.
Right on. Yeah. And we had quite an experience just getting ourselves set up here. And but once we're here, it all seems to come together really well.
Yeah.
So, well, first of all, I might share with our viewers, I do have a bio sheet that that Susan provided that I found. It just, I couldn't believe it. I found out so many things about her that I didn't already know. So why don't you kind of give us a little summary of your career up to now? Because I think you've been lots of places and done lots of things.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned on that bio, it's been a long and winding road. And I started out as an undergraduate loving art and did graduate with an undergraduate degree in drawing and painting. And thereafter, worked at a variety of different jobs. Not many of them ones that were career type jobs for me. So I went back just before I turned 30 and became a registered nurse. And that started me on a different kind of career path. And I worked in Lethbridge, Alberta for a while in a day treatment center, and then in Haida Gwaii in Queen Charlotte City for a year and a half or so. And then came to Victoria and worked in Eric Martin for a number of years, mostly part-time, as I started my private practice in counseling and psychotherapy. I did go back because I wanted to expand that moment of connection and talking, which I found in the hospital and institutions was really rushed and hurried. I didn't like that, and I wanted to expand that time. So that's when I went back to school to get a degree so that I could open a private practice and have the full hour or whatever regularly with people.
Yeah. So here is another person. Here's another commonality that maybe you didn't know. I started my career after high school as a hairdresser.
Oh, did you?
And I loved. I discovered I loved working with people who didn't give much of a darn about their hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, that discovery of learning and recognizing that we have something really, a need for something a little bit more than a cursory sort of connection with people.
Yes, a really meaningful connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, though, Lowell Ann, for me, I have actually valued all the different early working experiences I had, because I feel like they've really contributed to me being able to hear and connect in ways I might not otherwise have done. For example, working in a factory or working in a bank or working in a laundry or as a cleaning lady, all that has contributed, I think, to the mix that I bring.
I'm absolutely certain of it. I mean, I was just blown away. And earlier I did sort of well, we just discovered we both lived in Yellowknife, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
But that travel and being ready to try new things and explore new approaches, etc., that that really jumps out
Yeah.
in your bio for sure. So let's see. I was, well, first of all, I mean, you talked about you do currently have a counseling
Yes, I do.
practice, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I noticed that you work with a variety of people. You want to sort of say anything about? I know that in the counseling, well, the counseling and the coaching world, confidentiality is a big piece.
Yeah.
Recognize that, but the type of situations that you find yourself working with, maybe, or
Sure. I've really loved having the opportunity to work with people from 18 to 80. It's been great for me. People from many different walks of life, first responders and stay-at-home moms, and just people in management, people just doing their daily lives. It's been a really an honor, really, and a treat. I've loved it. I've loved the variety. And I love the privilege of being able to witness people as they move more towards their recognizing their own gifts and resourcefulness and wisdom and beauty and all of that. That's a real treat. And more than that, it's very meaningful to me. So having had a general practice has been part of what I've loved. And now I'm making another transition myself as I move out into the coaching world more towards working with people, and specifically who are heading towards retirement, busy professional people heading towards retirement, as many of my friends are. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that was going to be a question I had in my own mind, sort of what was it that prompted you to move? Well, you haven't given up your counseling career, so but to move into the coaching world, and I'm guessing that it's coaching is really it's kind of moving forward, isn't it? More than the counseling.
Well, interestingly enough, I feel that I have been using coaching in my counseling and psychotherapeutic practice, and more over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, what I'd like to do is really step into that more and more explicitly, and have it be more online, and so that would take me out of simply working with people locally, and I love working. I occasionally have clients around the world, and I love that kind of connection. And so I would like more of that, and more of the forward-looking, setting goals and accountability and support in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of people are a little bit confused about the difference between counseling and coaching, and that's always you might disagree with me, I don't know, but to me, counseling is about kind of more about problems and issues, and sometimes delves into the past so that one can move forward. And coaching is more about the present and moving forward with goals and accountabilities and things of that nature. So does that sum it up for you, or would you add to that?
Well, I think that that's a fit. And certainly, as I say, over the years, my focus has changed, and definitely I think that there's more likelihood that there be attention to history if it's blocking movement in the present, but not a deep fascination with what went on in the past, other than it being relevant in the now, basically. And I think that that's true in both counseling and coaching, that we do much of what we do, a huge percentage of what we do is related to our mindset, and much of that, if it's blocking us, tends to be historical.
Yeah. So it's a kind of a blurry line in between, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
it tends to be for me. I think each can enrich the other. Yeah, rather than blurry line. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember our conversation that sort of led to this conversation.
Yes.
Was that we're both interested in what happens with people when they retire.
Yes.
And I know that your focus is transitions and how that, how one makes that transition from maybe having a what I used to call a job
Yes.
into something else.
Yes.
And my interest is kind of from a career perspective, and to focus on things that people might want to do as a second career, whereas I know that not everybody wants a second career in their retirement.
Yes.
So, but the whole concept of the fact that we leave a job at 60 or 65 and recognize we've got at least another 20 years on this planet.
Yeah.
It needs to be something that's going to be meaningful.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I've been having fun interviewing a few people about their experiences of retirement, and it's different. People make different choices, and I think for me, I'm interested in that place where people who have been busy, successful people think about retirement and run into a brick wall. They run into anxiety around, who am I going to be without my business card? Who am I going to be without my name on the door? Who am I going to, where are my friends? What's going to happen to my circle of friendship? What's going to be meaningful in terms of why should I get up in the morning? And, who do I say I am in a social gathering? And those kinds of questions that haunt people. And
I mean, having gone through it myself, I remember when I left the government, and for me, the big one was no longer having that circle of connections.
Yes.
People that I worked with. That was my biggest one.
Kind of a shock. Where did they all go?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 So I know that you have been busy doing something else. I know you've written a book. So let's talk about your book.
I'd love to. Can I show it?
Absolutely. Please do.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Here's my book. It's One Choice at a Time, A Practical Guide to Well-Being. And with a picture of somebody who happens to be a good friend of mine on the front.
A beach picture.
It's a grassy knoll.
Oh, wow. So that what's on the other side of the knoll is not water.
No, she's gazing out. She's gazing out on, yeah.
So one choice at a time. So is the book really kind of about all those things that you just mentioned, the things that happen to people as they're retiring, or does it have a wider
The book
view?
actually emerged out of the work that I've been doing over the last 27 years. And I've been teaching specific practices that I've garnered through my professional training, and as well through the interest I've had in yoga and in meditative practices and qigong and those sorts of things. And I noticed as I was going along and working with people that I was teaching the same thing. I was personalizing it, but teaching the same kinds of things to people over and over. Things about how to regulate their nervous system, and things about self-talk. And so what I've done is I've created a very step-by-step, progressive uh, series of chapters which are full of stories of composite clients that I've worked with, and my own stories too, and the various exercises and practices that I've been teaching. And so that's what it is.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
And so have you had a book launch?
No, I haven't had a book launch. I've actually just so far had an initial run of 24, and I've used them just to thank people who have been helpful to me in writing it. And now I have another run coming up, and my plan is to have it up on Amazon certainly by mid-June, if not before. Yeah, I have a number of people who have said that they'll do reviews, and I'd like to have those ready to go when
Absolutely.
it goes up. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so that's something to look forward to. What about a website? Do you have a website?
I have a website. It's susanfarling.com.
That's easy.
It's very easy. Yes. Yeah.
And will there be, I'm assuming there will be links on your website to for
Amazon?
people who want to be able to purchase a book.
Yes, but that will be once it's up on Amazon. I'll have it linked directly to my website.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, isn't that exciting? So
It is exciting.
So I guess would we say it's self-published?
It's published, it's self-published. There's a local person, Dan Doherty, who has a publishing company called Reciprocity Press.
Oh,
And I love that name. And Dan has been a great help. And as I say in my acknowledgement, it's been like having the wind at my back working with him.
oh wow. Right
Yeah.
on. That is wonderful. So I really encourage everybody to watch for Susan's book,
Thank you, Lola.
because I think knowing just knowing her, I'm certain it's it's going to be a worthwhile read for sure, and something that would help people sort of move along.
You know, Lola, one of the things that's been very exciting to me is that a number of parents who've read it have gotten excited about giving it to their adult children, and that's been really something that I've just been thrilled with. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Adult children, yeah.
Yeah.
So just before we close, I'm really interested in so we've talked about what happens in a transition between a job and retirement, but I'm kind of curious, do you work with people who are going through other kinds of transitions?
In my counseling and
World,
psychotherapeutic practice, certainly, yes.
yeah.
And I will over time, but I'm just starting my coaching practice, and so I'm going to focus on that one area. But my imagining is that over time, I'll have different areas of focus, and probably create packages or courses in different areas. But right now, it's going to be focusing on
The retirement thing.
Retiring. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's so you're kind of new to, well, I mean, even as a counselor, you are a solopreneur, aren't you?
Yes. However, I have to say that in that in my psychotherapeutic and counseling practice, I never really got that I was in a business as well as in a practice. I remember my supervisor saying, now, remember you're wearing two hats, but I never got it. And so I've just been fortunate that I've been able to have a practice for the length of time that I have. I'm just, the moving into coaching feels like I'm getting it now. Okay, this is a business as well as a coaching practice. Yeah, so my focus is different in terms of being more out in the world. I've been very lucky. I've been able to sit in my office and have clients come to me through EAP programs or through referrals and that sort of thing. This feels different. This feels like I'm kind of emerging from that into kind of a more public way of being in the world.
Well, and certainly coaching requires a degree of marketing sensibility.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. That's it.
So as you've been getting your coaching side going, any particular, over and above the public part, any particular observations about going into business that you might like to share with other solopreneurs?
Well, it's requiring me to grow in ways I haven't before. It's asking me to move into areas that are not comfortable for me. And I know that to be a successful business person, I need to do that. And so there's that awareness, but there's also, I think it's really important to have coaches myself, to study with people who are doing what I want to do and who have done it successfully. And there's any number of people out there who are wanting to be coaches of people going out into the coaching world. I think it's important to be strategic about who I choose as a coach in terms of timing. It's so easy to go out there into the internet and say, oh, I want to learn that, and I want to learn that, and I want to learn that. But I'm learning that to be in business, it's very much as a step-by-step process that it's important to follow systems and in ways that I haven't done before. So that's all new to me. It's a learning curve, Lolan. Like a huge learning curve.
Yes, I am very much aware of that.
Yeah.
Been there myself.
Yes.
Yeah. So so your website is going to be important, and I heard you say that you had an interest of in moving out into the kind of online world, and that can be very satisfying. And I mean, the people you connect with,
yes,
you find them all over the world.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah. It's really quite satisfying. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think I've covered all the questions that I had, but I really do want to give you an opportunity to promote or leave a parting message of your choice.
Thank you. And I do appreciate this opportunity very much.
Fun.
So as I've said in my book, and I think on my website as well, that I really welcome feedback. I really would love to hear what readers' experience is of reading my book and doing the exercises. I welcome feedback about what works and what doesn't work, what's been useful and maybe not so useful. And likewise, on my website, I would be delighted to connect with people and hear from them what their experience is of what I'm offering.
Right.
So I appreciate that.
On your website, there is an opportunity to kind of leave a message.
To connect. Yes, to connect with me. Yeah, definitely.
That's perfect.
Yes.
SusanFarling.com.
That's right.
Right.
And again, Lolan, thank you for this opportunity. It's been unique to me. I haven't done it before, so thanks so much.
Well, it's kind of fun.
Yes, it is.
I personally love seeing what makes solopreneurs tick.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I look forward to more conversations between you and I in and
Yes.
around this whole retirement piece.
Yes.
So,
I'd look forward to that too. Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
so I think I would like to close our session now
Okay.
with an invitation to viewers to just join my Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. It's especially for solopreneurs like Susan and I,
Yep.
and where you can come to my website and participate in a hangout like this, or to be able to view the conversation and add comments. And what happens is sometimes there's up to 10 people in the room chatting, and we're always giving and receiving support from one another. We exchange information and knowledge. We've been doing lots of online experimentation, learning from each other, trying out new things. And actually, business starts to happen between some of the people that come.
Yes.
Because we've been doing it for several years now. People come and go, and there's some that have been there for that full time. But what I've learned is that it's about the development of trust. You get to you meet people, you get to know them, and you that trust does develop.
Yeah.
So I do host that hangout on air on my website, loweland.com. So I invite everyone to go visit there. And Susan, I invite you to come and join us.
Thank you, Lowland.
I think you would really enjoy the experience.
I think I would too. Unfortunately, that morning is the time that I've already booked.
Oh, you've got that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's always the challenge, but one of the reasons why it's important to do we do a hangout on air, so that it gets recorded and people in different time zones, etc., can participate. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is Loweland signing off with thanks to Susan Farling. Until next time.
Thank you so much, Lowland.
So bye now.
Bye-bye.